Francis Ngannou will be facing Tyson Fury in a boxing match this weekend, and man, am I excited for Francis. Not too long ago, everyone was talking about how he fumbled the bag, how he should have just accepted the UFC's offer, and then he goes out there, gets a fight with Tyson Fury, and is going to make more money than he would have ever made in the UFC, and I'm super happy for him. But let's talk about this fight. A lot of people think this fight isn't close. Tyson's going to go out there and dominate him, and you know what? I agree. However, I think this fight is much closer than you think, and Francis actually has a little bit of a chance. Now, what is the number one thing people are comparing this fight to? It's Conor vs. Floyd, but there is a big difference, one big difference between the Conor McGregor-Floyd Mayweather fight and the Francis Ngannou-Tyson Fury fight, and that's the weight class. It is no secret that typically as you move down in weight, the fighters, the boxers, it doesn't matter, get more skilled. And that's for one simple reason. They can't rely as much on their physical traits, their reach, their height, their weight. For example, a guy like Derek Lewis or Tai Tuivasa would never make it in the bantamweight division or the featherweight division or many divisions outside of the heavyweight and I guess maybe the light heavyweight division. Derek Lewis, who has talked about as one of the greatest heavyweights of all time. Now, he's not like in the real conversation with guys like Stipe, but he's probably in the top 5, and he's definitely in the top 7, and he became one of the greatest heavyweights of all time pretty much solely on the fact that he has a lot of power. But let's say you take Derek Lewis and you put him in one of the lower divisions, the bantamweight division, the featherweight division, the lightweight division, it doesn't matter. It would be hard for him to even beat a ranked opponent in most divisions lower than the heavyweight division, let alone be ranked. Now, there are a few outliers, obviously, guys like Ciryl Gane and John Jones, but even still, especially Ciryl Gane would have a hard time winning a lot of fights in lower divisions because of just the skill difference. And this isn't just an MMA thing, it's a boxing thing. As you go down lower in weight, the skill level increases. The Conor vs. Floyd fight took place at super welterweight, which is 154 pounds. Fury vs. Ngannou, on the other hand, is taking place at heavyweight, where skill doesn't mean nearly as much, and even with skill meaning a lot against Floyd, Conor didn't do too bad. Now, he didn't win the fight, he got stopped, and he didn't win a lot of rounds, but he did win a couple, and he held in there until he just completely gassed out and got tired, which is when Floyd saw his chance, put the pressure on Conor, and stopped him. In lower weight classes like super welterweight, power doesn't mean as much. However, in the heavyweight division, one punch can change a lot because guys aren't throwing as many punches, guys aren't landing as many punches, guys are easier to hit, and they're just overall less skilled, so one punch can make a lot of difference. And what does Francis Ngannou have? What is his biggest strength going into this fight? One punch knockout power. And he is going against Tyson Fury. Now, this isn't the same Tyson Fury that fought Vladimir Klitschko. This is a older, slower Tyson who's a lot easier to hit. We saw Deontay Wilder, who I guess if you're going to make a comparison, is the closest boxer to Francis stylistically. We saw Deontay drop Tyson 4 times, and he hit him multiple times. Fury has not gone up since those Deontay Wilder fights. He has not gone up against someone who has a lot of power and is also someone who is super fast. Francis has very underrated speed. Francis is also the only fighter Fury has ever faced who is as big as him. They're going to come in right around the same weight. They're a similar-ish height. I think Tyson's probably got an inch or two on him. And they got a very similar reach. I think it's only like a 2-inch reach difference. This is the first guy Fury has ever fought who is close and who can match his size. This is also the first guy Fury will have fought who is better than him in the clinch, not only because of his weight, but also because of his MMA background. Fury's not going to be able to lean on Francis in the clinch as well as he could against Deontay Wilder, which is going to take away one of Fury's biggest strengths when Francis gets in close. In Francis's training, from the looks of it, from the clips we have seen, Francis has been really drilling shots to the body. And with Tyson having that massive belly of his, those body shots are going to be there as he works into range. He's been working the left hooks to the body, and then as Francis works to the body, the head will open up. He can look for an uppercut, which is probably his best punch. It's the punch he knocks Stipe out with. And we know Francis has a lot of power, and Fury hasn't fought a guy with power since Deontay Wilder, and we don't know how that trilogy and getting dropped and honestly knocked out in that first fight will have affected his chin, and maybe he can't take a punch the same because although Deontay does hit harder than Francis, Tyson's chin could be weaker, so it doesn't take take as much power to drop him or knock him out. And because Tyson is much more hittable than he used to be, and Francis is very fast and powerful, and he knows he can't win a decision, the reason Deontay Wilder didn't perform too well in that third fight was because of all the size he put on. He put on all that size, which really decreased his gas tank. Francis, on the other hand, we know has okay cardio. We don't know how his boxing cardio is, and this will be the longest fight he'll ever have. But from what we've seen in the UFC, he can go 5 rounds if he has to, which is 25 minutes, and this is 36 minutes, so it's quite a bit more. But we know his cardio is at least all right. So that's why I think Francis has a better chance than people think, because Tyson leaves openings, and Francis is very fast and powerful, and has a puncher's chance against Tyson. But let's get into my official prediction for this fight. Francis's only way of winning this fight is by knocking Fury out. I know that, he knows that, everyone knows that. So can he find that knockout? Can he work his way into range, land to the body? That left hook to the body is going to be there if he can find his way into range. Fury does have a good jab. He knows how to use his jab. It's fast, it's pretty powerful, and then he can frame off that jab to try and land that right hand. But as Tyson throws his jab, can Francis time it and land a left hook? That's one of his best punches. His 2 best punches are the lead left hook and the right uppercut. I'm working around Tyson's jab, ripping to the body, right straights to the body, left hooks to the solar plexus, and then using that body work to set up the left hook upstairs or the uppercut is Francis's best chance. On the other hand, for Tyson, what does he have to do? He has to survive the early rounds. I think Francis will steal a round or 2 at the beginning. I think he's going to go out there fast, try and explode and take over early. So Fury has to not get caught, constantly jab and move, stay away from the ropes. It is a bigger ring. It's 24 by 24. Francis wanted 20 by 20, obviously, so Fury's movement isn't as effective. And then towards the middle, as Francis's volume starts to lower and he starts to get more tired, then Fury has to put it on him, put Francis on the back foot, line up that jab, line up that right hand, stick at range, use his overall boxing experience and boxing fundamentals over him, use his footwork, use his defense, his high guard. That's not something Francis is used to. Francis is used to punching with small 4-ounce gloves. He's fighting with 10 ounces for the first time. This is also Francis's first boxing match, so make his inexperience show. And then when Francis shows signs of weakness, drown him. Drown him with punches, but you gotta stay technical. Don't let Francis catch you because his power will stay all 12 rounds. And if Fury can just avoid those big shots, then Fury should win this fight very easily. But in the end, who do I see winning this? I definitely got to go with Fury pretty heavily. And I'll go with him by a later stoppage, probably the 9th, 10th round, somewhere around there. As I said, I think Francis will look okay early, and Fury doesn't have a lot of power to where I see him starching him in the first few rounds. But he has to stick at range, constantly use his jab, circle away from the power hand, stay away from the ropes, just use his overall ring IQ and boxing experience over Francis. And then when Francis starts to slow down, put it on him, but stay composed and stay technical. Don't walk into a shot, but apply the pressure and keep him on the back foot, and eventually that finish I think will expose itself as Francis starts to wind up on punches, gets less technical, leaves more openings as he becomes desperate, and then that's where I see Fury knocking him out. I don't think he'll knock him out cold like he did Wilder in the third fight, but I think there's a strong chance he'll either drop him and Francis won't be able to recover, or because of the volume of strikes, the ref will call it off and it'll be a standing TKO. But that's my final prediction. I'm leaning very heavily to Tyson. But if you do think Francis has a good chance, maybe you should put some money on it. The odds are crazy right now. And it is heavyweight boxing, and Francis has a lot of power, so he's got a puncher's chance. But he doesn't hit harder than Wilder. And Wilder hit Fury with his best shots and never knocked him out. Although that first fight probably should have been a knockout. But officially, Fury was never knocked out. He got knocked down a couple times, but he was able to recover. And if he's able to recover from Deontay Wilder's shots, especially as fast as he did, I don't think Francis will be able to put him out cold. And that's what he's got to do. He's got to knock him out cold to win this fight. But that is the end of the video. If you did enjoy, please subscribe. We're very close to 100 subs. As I'm recording this video, we're at 96. So if you want, get me to 100 subs. That would be very nice. But you don't have to if you don't want to. Comment your opinions on this fight down below. Leave your predictions. Like the video if you did enjoy. Follow my brand on Instagram. Follow myself on Twitter and Instagram. Linked in the description. And I'll see you guys in the next video.
Stuck in a bad dream. Hollywood rich girl stuck in my backseat. She wanna get at me, but the day's too short, can't let her distract me.